Yesterday, I told a man on Hinge that I was blind. Listen, I'll be the first to say it. I do not deserve Hinge because I'm a fucking menace on that app. And I've always let my intrusive thoughts win while I'm on Hinge. Man was like, oh my God, I love your eyes. I was like, thank you so much. They're fake. I don't know why I told him that. I was like, I think it'll just be funny. He was immediately like, oh my God, I need to get me a pair. And I was like, no, like they're fake eyes. I'm blind. Simply and utterly just because I thought it was funny. Like, I don't know why the fuck on Hinge, I just feel the need to take everything as a joke. I'll post the screenshot to my Instagram story, so go look there, but I don't know what the fuck. It still makes me giggle to this day. Like, and this is not the first time I've lied on that app. I told this story a while back, but some man invited me to the club one time, and he was like a promoter, and I told him that like my friend lost her hand there. Like my friend's hand got chopped off, and he was like, wait, what the fuck? And I was like, yeah, so I'm not allowed back there. But I kid you not, I find so much fucking joy in lying to these men on this app, because men are fucking gullible. I mean, like, why would I lie? The thing is, like, they would never expect me to lie on this app, so I love to just hit them where it hurts and be like, just kidding, I'm a fucking liar. I don't know, more just like I like to fuck with them, and I'm not out here fucking with like every single guy. Like some I actually do take seriously, maybe, but Hinge is where I let my intrusive thoughts win, and it feels good. It feels good to get those intrusive thoughts out. And listen, I do always tell them I'm lying, but yeah, I do like to let my intrusive thoughts win on Hinge, and you should too.
My 37 male, wife 35 female was in a man's hotel room at 1:30 in the morning. My wife of nearly 10 years has a history of straying, but that was prior to marriage and only happened once. There have been other suspicious circumstances, including once when a man that she says was her designated driver stayed overnight at our apartment while I was out of town, but she insists nothing happened. Recently, my wife went to a work conference with several male colleagues. On the first night there, they all went out to bars. That went well past midnight. We share our locations on our phones, and I hadn't heard from her, so I checked her location. She was at a hotel that wasn't hers. I FaceTimed her and she didn't pick up. I called again and she picked up with the phone facing towards the ceiling and wall corner, with her from the shoulders up. I heard a male voice for half a second and then complete silence. She was eating a slice of pizza. I asked her what she was doing and she said, eating pizza? I asked her where and she didn't answer. She looked nervous. I asked her to spin the phone around so I could see what was going on. She hung up instead. I called her back and she didn't answer. I called again and she picked up and was walking fast through a hotel hallway. She made it outside and we talked on the way back to her hotel. She was nervously grinning the entire way back. She was very drunk. She was acting sort of angry with me. I'm not sure about what. Angry I called? Angry at the obvious sort of implied situation? I asked her to explain the situation and she says that she left the bar with 2 male coworkers to return to a hotel room where another male coworker had pizza. She says that she didn't realize how the situation looked until I called her and that she then panicked. She says that she didn't pan the phone around because she knew I would be upset. When I pointed out that she immediately told me that she was there with 3 men, so what information was she hiding by not showing me the room? She then said that she didn't pan the phone around because it would have been embarrassing. No, that whole situation is up. That is so wrong. I feel so bad for him, man. I'm trying to figure this out and come to terms with whatever happened. My gut feeling is that maybe she is lying and there was only 1 man there and they were doing more than eating pizza or planning on it. Otherwise, my thought is that it is obviously inappropriate and crosses boundaries she knows that I have. So at best, it is extremely disrespectful to me and our marriage. I'm trying to figure out if we should get divorced. She insists this is all because she wanted a slice of pizza. Is that realistic? Am I being gaslit? Please help. Honestly, listen to your gut. That is so up on so many levels to do something like that. I didn't realize how bad of a situation it was until you called bullshit. You're mad because you got caught, not because, oh my God, thank you for making me realize how bad this, get out of here. Am I wrong for neutering a cat that was clearly owned? I run a TNR program for feral cats, nonprofit. What the hell's TNR? Let's Google that. Wait. TNR meaning trap, neuter, return. I catch all of the cats and get them the medical attention they need myself out of my own pocket. I love helping them. A lot of the cats are not able to be rehomed, so I fix them and release them, get them their shots and hope for the best. I'm not a large-scale operation. Recently, I was called to an area overrun with orange cats. They were everywhere, and I mostly ended up handing it over to professionals. I did, however, manage to grab 3 very sweet cats. 2 were terrified, skinny, a little beaten up, but overall friendly. The third one was a little gent. He was tubby, well-groomed, fish pattern collar, the works. My plan was to find his parents and drop him off with a warning to keep him in due to the large amount of traps being set. Then the little sprayed the inside of my car to the freaking max. So apparently he wasn't fixed. I couldn't really tell. He had long hair and assumed he was, so left my covers off. Big mistake. So apparently he wasn't fixed. I debated taking him home or taking him to get neutered with the rest. He was an indoor-outdoor cat, indicated by his collar tag, and with so many strays, I'm certain some were carrying his genetics. Ultimately, I took him with me and got him neutered. No chips, so I called the number on his tag and informed them where their cat was and gave them their time slots to pick him up or have him dropped off. The owners went ballistic. They were cursing me out and came to collect their cat not 20 minutes later, called me a kidnapper, blamed me for their child having nightmares, scared over their cat going missing. I tried to explain that he needed to be fixed if he was going to be outside, but they didn't want to know. They said I should have called immediately regardless. I spoke to my rescue friend who said I was in the wrong. Even though we know we are technically in the right, we didn't have the legal ground to do that and it wasn't my decision to make. I did apologize, but I have blocked their numbers. The mom is flaming me on Facebook and DMing people I know. I have a duty to care for stray cats. Me knowing an unneutered male was roaming free and not doing anything about it was a concern for the said stray cats. Things are still tense between my rescue buddy and I don't completely disagree. I know I crossed a line even if it was for the greater good. People are finding out and taking sides. So I'm not sure who to really believe was right here. So am I the asshole? What I would have done, I would have given them a warning the first time saying, hey, we found your cat outside. There's a lot of strays. You can get them pregnant. If I catch your cat outside again like this roaming around these strays, I'm gonna neuter him. But you just took him the first time without letting them know. And for some people, their pets are like their children. So you did a big no-no.
My boyfriend, male 35, of 1 year, suggested he take me, female 32, for a Brazilian wax as a date idea. How do I tell him he made me feel uncomfortable? I asked my boyfriend if we could start going on more dates together. Over the past months, I felt like he stopped planning anything for us. I can't remember the last time we went out for dinner or he surprised me. Things have been feeling stagnant. So I suggested things like a painting or cooking class, a spa day, etc. He seemed uninterested in what I was saying and said he can't really afford any of those options. I do understand that as he's a full-time student at the moment. But then he suggested he take me to get a wax, Brazilian. At first I laughed it off and said, when you do, but I was genuinely upset at the comment. He later told me he was just joking. For context, I do trim a couple of times a week. Now he's been annoyed and standoffish since I brought the date ideas up. He said he doesn't like being told what to do, that things should happen organically, and he feels he's not enough. I've tried to explain that this is my love language and the dates don't have to be expensive. He responded that he took me for burgers 3 months ago and that was him making an effort. I feel uncomfortable that he commented on my body like this. I feel like I'm asking too much of him. How do I get him to understand that I value and need quality time in a relationship?
My sister ruined my relationship, so I watched her world fall apart. Story time! So, my sister hates me. We'll call her Amy, and she is the golden child of our family. She was one of those kids that was literally good at everything. Dancing, singing, baking, acting, you name it. She was acing it. And she loved to rub it in my face that she was always better than me. She was constantly 2 steps ahead of me. She used to tell me how everyone loved her more than they loved me. Over the years, I just became her validation punching bag. She just thinks her life is this huge ass survival game where she's the star player. And everyone around her are just her little sidekicks in the game. If I got a B and she got an A, it was the perfect opportunity for her to show how much better she was than me. Even marrying the only good guy in the village was an absolute trophy moment for her, and he was my first love. I'd always dreamed of us both getting away from this shithole and moving away to Spain together. As Amy realised that I really liked Jane, she wanted him at whatever cost, and she ultimately got him. He fell in love with her the same way all of my family did. So unfortunately, Jake passed away. Amy was obviously heartbroken, but so was I too. But I had to put up this consoling front for my sister. And being completely honest, seeing how heartbroken she was over Jake's death made us grow closer together. To make sure she wasn't alone, I invited her to live with me and my boyfriend Mike for a few days. Mike and I had been with each other for about 2 years at this point. So Mike and I had just arranged a Valentine's trip to Hawaii together. And I really didn't want to leave Amy on her own since she was grieving so much. I convinced Mike to let Amy tag along on our Hawaii trip. But 4 days before the trip, I came home early. I saw Mike and Amy in my bed together.
And instead of giving me an explanation as to what the hell was going on, Mike broke up with me there and then. And I could just see the smirk on Amy's face in that moment. And 2 days later, I saw on Mike's Facebook that they were in a relationship together. And in her eyes, she was top of the leaderboard again. Her and Mike went on that Valentine's trip to Hawaii together. So I decided to make a little trip of my own. So remember when I said I wanted to move to Spain with Jake? So I decided to go on a road trip to Spain. I am not alone. I did a little stop at Amy's house before I left. On this trip, I have the company of my first love sitting in the passenger seat next to me. For the first time in my life, I was at the top of the leaderboard. Taking your sister's dead husband has to top hooking up with your sister's boyfriend, right?
I'm at the bad guy for not taking my full parental leave. My wife and I just welcomed twins. They're our first kids, and I'm lucky enough to work for a company that offers 20 weeks of parental leave, fully paid. I decided to take 5 weeks of leave once the twins are born, and then we'll take the remaining 15 weeks once my wife goes back to work. The twins are in daycare 3 days a week, so then I'll have them just 2 days. And we'll do daycare drop-offs and pickups. My wife has been extremely resentful of my decision, and has begged me to take more time with her at the beginning, at least the first 12 weeks, as she's now taking care of the twins alone for 5 weeks on, while I work. This has also put a huge strain on our relationship. The reasoning behind my decision is that I absolutely love my job. I've been in the position for less than a year, and it's been a massive step up in my career. I couldn't just take 12 weeks off so early in this position, although I was allowed to. It pays well and gives our families opportunities to save massively for the twins' future and our retirement. I'm looking forward to using the rest of my parental leave to focus on myself and my health while taking a break from working and giving myself a break to focus on myself after working really hard. I've taken more time off from their birth on, or am I doing something that's okay?